I feel I had to flee. I know not what Gareth, how he fares, but it's now too bloody and too dangerous to be out there. There seems to be bloodlust in everybody's eyes. No quarter is being given, and certainly none is being asked. It cannot last much longer. I don't know where Gareth is, but last time I saw him, he was trapped behind the royalist lines. Gareth, can you hear me? Are you still standing, sir?
I am standing and well, thank you, Robin. I'm still behind the enemy lines, behind the royalist lines, I should say, even though I'm afraid of a parliament. And yet, despite the fire, despite the shock, despite the wounds and the death, they are standing and they are moving back slowly, but there is no sign yet of a widespread collapse in the royalist defence. I have to say that I am astounded by the bravery of these men who, without their own gunpowder and musket balls, are standing to receive the shock that the Parliament army is pouring into the royalists. I do not understand it, and I do not believe that it can last for much longer. These people must break before long, I think. But at the moment, they are not showing any signs of doing so.
Well, Gareth, I can tell you, and Julie can confirm this, Oliver Cromwell has now remounted his horse, though rather painfully, and he's resuming the battle. This may be the moment that has been waited for, as Cromwell, with his various tactical mind, may yet swing this day. Julie, can you see Cromwell from where you sit?
Yes, I can see him. He's going to attack, hopefully, I am led to believe, Goring's horse, who are very tired and dejected. If he can rout them, the day may well be won. He can punch his way and destroy that flank of the royalist army.
I can certainly see the parliamentary cavalry pressing in amongst the royalist lines now, and as you say, the very presence of Cromwell with his reputation can only damage the spirit of the royalists, who were very, very strongly believing earlier that he was dead or seriously injured.
These now become desperate times. The road back to York was now choked with the fleeing, the wounded, townspeople, everybody now trying to flee in the very last vestige of the daylight to the safety of the city walls of York. Some of the regiments on the Royalists now were starting to look behind them and to gradually retreat and to look towards the road to York. Some of the front line had no option, they had to stand and fight. But I can see, Julie, it's like a vast sea of refugees now on the road back to York. It must be terrifying for the women, children and the wounded.
Yes, this is something I've been saying. Are they going to try and go back to York before Parliament wins the day, so they can close the gates them again and continue the siege? They've been under siege for a good month. They weren't in such bad position with food, but they were actually killing the cats and dogs and horses in the city. But things were getting pretty near that. Rupert has relieved those provisions, but they have not got the men in good heart to repel Parliament should they push on and try and take the fair city of York.
Julie, I've just had information. The artillery, the ammunition train, which the Royalist Army been waiting for all day, is on fire and has been abandoned on the road not 2 miles hence. The refugees are streaming past it, and I feel there's going to be a huge explosion soon. It's chaos. The wagons are blocking the road. The wounded and the living are trying to force their way past these wagons. There's surely going to be carnage.
And indeed, Robin, that news seems to reach the Royalist Army as well. And there's a much more sober feeling amongst them now than there was even a quarter of an hour ago. They're still standing here on the left flank of their army, fighting, but they're exchanging glances and looking very much more nervous. And certainly their muskets, who've been using their muskets as clubs, have been very badly mauled by the parliamentarian forces, who still of course have some powder and shot.
I understand that the residents of York have already made some preparation to receive their wounded, St Anthony's Hall has been put aside and they are accepting the wounded. I don't know if that's the officers or just the common soldier being directed there to have their wounds tended by the physicians of the day. Although, seeing some of the techniques that they employ, I may be tempted to pass them by and find further lodgings.
It's the first sign. The drums and the camp followers from the left flank of the Royalist Army have started to flee the field. I can see them running off now. And where they go, shortly thereafter, the men will follow almost certainly.
I've just felt the earth shake. There's been a huge explosion. I can confirm now that the powder wagons have exploded. There are now no supplies of powder for the salvation of Newcastle Rupert. All the ammunition has now exploded and has killed many, many townsfolk and wounded in the vicinity. It's an absolute bloodbath. Julie, the scene is undescribable.
And it will be made worse when the jackals from either side come and finish the bodies up, hacking limbs off to get rings and bracelets. The things are clenched in the dying man's hand to take a fine musket or pistol from it. Their clothes.
I think it's beginning to happen here in the left flank of the Royalists now. They're moving back in a less and less controlled manner. They're trying to face the enemy, but some of them are turning and looking to where the way of safety off the field might be. Any second now would be my guess when a retreat could turn into a rout.
Gareth, do you know where Newcastle's are? I haven't seen them.
It gets harder and harder to walk backwards facing the enemy.
I heard that Newcastle's going to try and make a stand so the rest of the Royalist Army could leave the field in some good order, but I can't see them.
Julie, the officers out there must be surely past the voices shot now. There's water's been completely exhausted for almost an hour now. Men haven't eaten for a full 12 hours. Their limbs must be so fatigued. They must be completely near exhaustion. I fear any man now with any resolve to make the last stand must be stout-hearted indeed.
Well, I stayed where I was in the same place on the field, but now that place is occupied by the parliamentary forces and not by the royalist forces, who are largely with them are still standing. I'm next to a parliamentary officer. Sir, can you say to me, do you think we now have won this day?
We have gained the field, sir. The royalists are in flight. They are falling back to Babylon, where many of them have been fighted, and the day belongs to us. Praise the Lord!
Well, that's certainly a clear move from the battlefield here. The Royalist Army has lost the day, but yet they're still not fleeing in complete disarray. There are units who are marching in a very determined manner, and there are units who are retreating in a very disciplined manner, although some have fled.